Hi, everybody. Welcome to The New Normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Like Queen Lisa. Today is Tuesday. So we have a new Truth Tuesday or Truth Tuesday with Satoshi Sean. And I have some questions for you guys. I had a great interview or discussion with Bix and JC over on Beyond Mystics last night. If you guys didn't see that, please go watch that. And we ended up cutting it short and heading over to Rumble to finish it off. And I really just opened up and kind of put it all out there. So check that out after Sean and I show today. But we'll be right back with Sean right after this.
By which the strongest, the smartest, the fastest reproduced in greater numbers than the rest. A process which had once favored the noblest traits of man now began to favor different traits. America! Most science fiction of the day predicted a future that was more civilized and more intelligent. But as time went on, things seemed to be heading in the opposite direction, a dumbing down.
Every time a hurricane or storm's coming, the gas stations just fill up with women with plastic bags they get inside, and then they put the gas in and then wonder why the gas eats through it and spills, and they just don't know. Now look at this woman, spraying gasoline on top of the car. This is not a joke. She thinks that's how you clean your car, and she's got her mask on.
So let me get this straight. She's black. She's Indian. He's a reverend. He's a hero. And this guy is a woman?
I'm gonna grow a magnificent pair of breasts.
So that means that this is a peaceful protest, and this is a deadly insurrection. This guy's a white supremacist, and this guy won the election.
The economy was in a state of deep neglect. A great dust bowl had ravaged food supplies, and the #1 movie in the country was called Ass.
And that's the Secretary of Health.
It's kind of stupid.
Today could be your lucky day. California's first vaccine lottery drawing takes place tonight.
That's right. You can win $1 million. Get vaccinated.
Enjoy your
Extra big-ass fries.
You're saying I could get this? Some delicious fries? But there's also a burger element to this?
Joints for jabs. That's what they're calling it.
Free joints today to those who could prove they got the COVID vaccine.
Do something smart.
The answer is mass formation psychosis.
Did you just make that up?
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
What a stupid son of a bitch.
You're the smartest guy in the world. You're pretty dumb sometimes.
I'm kind of retarded.
Like out the toilet?
So you're taking every single thing going down a toilet, every drop.
Toilet to tap.
It's got electrolytes.
That's where we are. Now they're trying to push this new X thing on us.
Rondo. It's what,
Rondo. It's got electrolytes.
it's really weird. I'm going to talk about all that stuff that was.
Okay, well, we can talk about all that on your channel then.
It's
I just
much more sinister. I think it's my conspiracy hat is on for what I want to talk about.
Well, I think they're gonna rub it. So this part of my favorite letter in the whole wide world talked about that they were going to have to trick people, and then they were going to have to prove to people that they had tricked them. And I think that's what's about to roll out, is they're going to make it so blatant. So Vivek just stepped down and told everybody to support, but he didn't do it until they outed him for his role in he had some ownership in some of the jab creation companies. And
And
so
that's,
they
that's a
called
little,
that out. Then
and
he
that's a little
magically
bit hard though, Lisa, because, you know, I hit myself all the time because when XRP was, less than a penny, I was like, man, it's going to make so much money. I was telling my friends, you got to get this XRP, man. They're talking to American Express. They're doing a lot of stuff that, are crazy. And but then it was like, it's not a blockchain. It's not real blockchain. It's not crypto. It's blah, blah, blah. It's just banks 2.0. And I didn't. And I was like, you're right, man. Fuck that, man. Stay out of XRP. And then I was like, dude, I could have been like a multi-millionaire. And if like when you know what was coming, why wouldn't you invest in that stuff? If you want to make money and even use that money for something that's egalitarian and helpful to the cause, even it's a rough decision. You know what I mean?
So you think that's why he was involved in?
It's hard to judge people.
That's a pretty, that's a pretty low. I mean, that was genocide. So that's a pretty low. I don't know that I can go along with that.
Well, yeah, at this point in time, it's different than it was like 2 years ago. Because, Trump started the whole damn thing. He was like, hey, warp speed, vaccination, we're going to get this
speed
out.
Caused them to expose it.
We're going to get it done.
What the plan already was.
And the left was attacking him. The left was attacking him for starting the virus, for saying that he wasn't.
It was already, there were patents years before. It was already planned. It was already started. He didn't start any of it. He caused them to not have their ducks in a row and to be exposed with warp speed. That's what happened with warp speed. Warp speed was them putting the 5G blockers on all of the
for you if you want me to. But that's what he started running on a year before. It was like, we're going to get this virus taken care of. We're going to get this vaccine out. And Kamala Harris said, I won't take a vaccine from Trump. I'm not going to take. They were all talking crap about Trump. It was Trump's vaccine until Biden came in, and then it was the vaccine.
They weren't. That's not. He was talking about, you could put light. Oh, you mean light over it? You should talk with your doctor. He's not talking about their vaccine. This is where, like, you're following the mainstream media narrative.
No,
and you are way smarter than that.
They don't like to talk about the mainstream media. Don't talk about it because they were talking crap about him doing it, and then once they were in control, they're like, "Oh no, it's great, we're doing it now."
Not how it went down. Not how it went down at all. However, Trump did get a big win last night in Iowa. I saw a guy present. Tom shared. I think it was Tom. It was either Tom or Jim shared in the Telegram group a video of a guy presenting DeSantis with a what's it called? Participation trophy.
That was hilarious.
No worries. Casey stepped in to protect him. Oh yeah, you guys won't be able to see it. It was Jim Montgomery. Yeah, it blocked the 5G. Okay. So you guys can go to the Telegram group. I need to put the Telegram group link on my website.
Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine development funded by the Trump administration. The research and development of Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine, which proved to be 90% effective against SARS, blah, 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 in November 2020 was funded.
You reading that on Google, Sean?
President Donald
on
Trump's
Google?
observation. No. Let's see what fact check.
You Googling that?
No, fact check. We got timeline of Trump's COVID-19 comments.
I was there, and I know what was said, and I know what I experienced.
Just like when you go to the Bible and you read the red words that are all Jesus's words, these would be Trump's words. People have to take it. They have to admit Trump did the most freaking communist thing in the world.
He did not. You're not listening to his words then, and you're not trusting yourself, and you're not taking responsibility for your actions. You're wanting to blame Trump for your actions.
No. What actions? I didn't bail out the airline industry. He did. He created and propped up.
I believe that was a Congress decision.
That was him. We're not going to let the airline industry fall. He did it. He had them do it, and he signed it. He could have vetoed it. He signed the money. He gave him the money. That was very wrong. It was one of the most communist
Was
things
that a
anyone has
decision
ever
of
done.
we the people through the Congress?
Absolutely.
And then he signed it
We the
to
people didn't
support
do it.
that?
They did it. They did it. The swamp did it, and he was part of doing that. And people have to say, "Yep, he was. That was wrong." That's it.
Yeah, and did it expose that?
No, he was part of it. He did it. That's like going to a kitty orgy and saying you're there to expose people. You're there. He did that and it was wrong. And people have to admit when he did something wrong, call him out.
You can have that rant
Or else
by
you're
yourself.
part of a cult.
I'm not.
You have to.
Yeah, I'm not in on that. I don't believe all that. So, I'm not saying I certainly am not saying that he's perfect by any means, but
yes, you are.
I
Because
do
you
not
used to
think that
admit
he
that. You
is
used to say that about the airline thing.
malintended.
You used to admit that about the airlines, and you used to say, "Yeah, he was wrong. That was wrong." Totally, you used to. That was a terrible thing you did. Like a year or two ago, you did.
If the decision was bad for the people about the airlines, then fine.
Yeah.
Then that was a bad decision for the people about the airlines. But putting all of the weight on Trump is not accurate.
He did it. He was the president. He did it. Who pulled us out of Afghanistan and screwed it and killed everybody? It was the president. If Trump had been in office and did it, it would have been his fault. It would have been his shit show. But it wasn't. It was Biden's. But that thing about the airlines, totally him, totally awful. It was one of the most communist things
I do not know what has climbed up your tail today that you want to fight with me again, but we can go at it. Anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
But we can do that some other time. So I was talking about Trump's win last night. I was talking about DeSantis and his participation award.
Yeah, that was so it was so funny because that guy was like, it was that kid that went up on stage and said he was his rabbi, he was Clinton's rabbi at the Game Awards. It was just like that. The guy walked up there just total, I'm in control, and he's like, we want to give this participation trophy.
Well, I thought it was funny that his wife jumped in front of him to protect him and his own security guard. It was very, very staged. I mean, obviously his security guards are either very poorly trained or it was just so blatantly staged because no one was trying to protect him except his wife. So that's where it's so hokey, but they want you to see, they want you to look.
They're still ramming Nikki Haley down your throat, aren't they? Jeez.
The alien stuff?
No, Nikki Haley she's in the running.
Oh, Haley. Yeah, they're wanting him, Trump and Haley, to do a debate or something. I'm like,
she's terrible.
Ain't first you last.
Shred her to ribbons. I mean, everyone shreds her to ribbons. She's awful. That was she talked crap about TikTok, and then Vivek's like, you do know your daughter's on TikTok promoting you, right? Right now. It was just
that you're using that for your campaign.
Yeah, she will be destroyed by Trump. So if they want to do that, she got what 20%, and it's not like as other people drop out, they're going to split. Some of them will go for her. No one's gonna. If you think even 10% of the people that were following Vivek are going to switch to the Haley camp, you're nuts. She'll be at 20%, and when there's only two of them, that means he'll have 80%. So I just don't know. I mean, I'm constantly getting texts, getting emails. Oh, you've got to give us money for Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley needs your help. I'm like, no.
Are they really? You get a bunch of texts for?
Oh yeah, all the time. I'm Nikki Haley. It's me, Nikki. Can you give me some money? It's terrible, but
interesting. Well, I had a really good talk with Bix and JC last night. I've been sending Uncle Cliff and Bix a lot of the stuff that I was seeing with the Native American tribes and the stuff going on that you and I told them we had been talking about a lot of the jurisdiction stuff that was coming through Oklahoma, and then that we've been seeing some of it elsewhere, and then how you and I had talked about that where they gave the tribes jurisdiction over some of the dams even and power plants and stuff. And then we started talking about the missing children and all that stuff. And so it was a really good talk and interview. We ended up having to go over to Rumble, but I was really, really proud of it and really glad to get to do it and share my thoughts about all that. And it just kind of like affirmed more of like the whole, when Trump talks about USMCA, and then I found this picture, which I tried to put on the thumbnail, but it's way too big. So I was going to go ahead and share part of it here. But like, there's a bunch of prophecy around like, we become one, we are one. And the whole thought about like getting rid of the slave system, which any form of currency or money is a counterfeit of human energy. And this guy has it says this, I saw this on I think I pulled this off Facebook or something, and it said something about like, this was the native tribes of North America, Central America, and the Caribbean. And it talked about how the tribes flowed. There weren't these boundaries of the, of the US and Canada and Mexico. So could that be like the Make America Great Again, make North America great again, with the trade? And, people talk about, if you want people in Mexico to stop coming to America or infiltrating America, well, then, if silver goes back up, if we stop the derivatives and silver rises in its true value, well, then Mexico's rich in silver. People will be rushing to Mexico to go to Mexico, the opportunity there, the land is rich, and we, the people, I think, have a lot to benefit. It's the elites that keep stealing from all of us and making everyone slaves. And they do that through currency, through money. And so that's what we have to throw off. And I think the trafficking of children specifically, like we talked about this, it began with the derivatives, and they found out that they could sell your money. They could, you could put your money in a bank and they could loan it out 10 times. And then they found out they could do, put it in Wall Street, and they could do worse things with it. And now they have found out how many times they can sell a child. And that's even more than a dollar or derivative. And so that's what has to stop next. And so that ends with us trading peer to peer.
And also that what'll help there is, and that's something that was a very positive thing about BRICS. And it was neat. It was neat to see like small African nations talking crap to France, Britain, and all,
pushing back on Italy, telling Italy to get the hell out.
We'll talk about that at the next BRICS meeting that you're not coming to, because they're getting power. They're not under the thumb where, a bunch of our brown kids are missing, but we're not going to, make a big deal out of it because the U.S. is going to, do something terrible to us, or, they're like at that next level of slavery. It's just something Tucker Carlson said that stuck in my mind. If someone could do something to you and you're not allowed to fight back, you're a slave. You're a total slave, whether it's at work, whether it's your job, whether it's something social, whether it's the government. If someone can exert force on you or stop you from doing something and you can't fight back, you are a slave. So South American countries, the indigenous people, that's, been going on for so long, that's starting to come out. But a lot of like Middle Eastern countries, and, that's where all the slave trade is so big. They're terrible. But that governments and elites and other people are a part of it. So I think that's something that I think is been cool to see, is that those governments and those people can take back some power to stand up to the countries and the governments that have been, not even the countries. You got to start.
And
what
we've
is the governments that are keeping them in slavery.
Yeah. And we've seen, over 23 states, I guess, make laws about legal tender and making gold and silver legal tender. And then, what Texas is doing, trying to get a digital backed or gold and silver digital gold and silver backed currency. Sorry, I'm really struggling there. And I've heard that some states were even talking about making deals with BRICS directly, which I don't know how that plays out or how that pans out. Like, would that be with just certain states' resources or within their state's treasury?
See, that's why you think it's hard to get, is because people have to stop thinking about states as states or countries. You know what I mean? And
it's like the nation state thing.
Yeah, just like if if Jamaica was to do it, it's insignificant, it's tiny, but it's a country, and we can think about it that way. But to think about, and that's what happened last week. Texas took control of a part of the border, of the Eagle Pass,
Okay. Yes.
and kicked out the feds and said, "You're not allowed in here." They're like, "We're the border patrol." It's like, no, we're Texans.
Yep.
You're not allowed here.
Texas first.
We have this. And
Yeah.
that, they sent people out with riot gear, and they were knocking people back into the river with with shields. Wow. And the feds, they wouldn't let them in. I told you that was coming. I didn't think it was happening this fast.
Yeah, you did.
And they backed down. If the feds would have pushed, that's what would be interesting, because they didn't push back. They're like, okay, you guys, you can take it. Well, we'll go.
I wanted to ask you about on that somebody had said that Texas has to vote every year about it actually has to vote to stay in the union. That because you had said like they changed it, or
they did, yeah. Under Clinton, he withheld something that we needed for, it was like I think it was some kind of natural disaster. Okay. It was like a hurricane or something. The big terrible one, like Louisiana, that made the levee break, and they did terrible things there because we had so many refugees from Louisiana. We needed some kind of help. I think it was that. If not, I know it was something
like Katrina or whatever. And so if you took the money, then you had to give up your...
To get the money, we had to just take that out. We're not doing anything. It's like we're leaving, right? Just take that thing out that we put in our agreement when we joined the union. But there's, and this is one of those things where you're a sovereign citizen, or the post office is the mega, most important thing, or admiralty law, or all the crazy conspiracies, which when you lay it out and you say, here's the facts, you can even say, well, yeah, you're right, but nobody cares. That's not how it works. So there's a group, if I remember, it's just a small group of people from the counties, and they meet once a year. But they voted to secede one time, or a couple times.
Is that the Texit, or is this different from Texit?
This is different. This is like nobody talks about it.
Okay.
It's and it's ignored, but it was like part of the original thing. They're supposed to be important people, but they meet at like Denny's once a year and do their vote. It's not a big deal. I need to look back. I haven't even seen anything about it or looked into it for probably a decade. But yeah, and things are. That's what's really frustrating. I have a friend of mine on the what's their channel? We the People. Consent of the Governed, COG.
Yeah.
And I get into arguments with this one guy.
You?
Yeah, because he's like, no, can't happen. I'm like, no, man, this is happening. I got a ticket, $300 because my lawn wasn't mowed. Because the dude across the street's a dick. He works for the city. We have we don't like each other.
That's terrible.
So like my neighbor's grass, like you can see it, it's higher than mine, but I'll get a ticket. And he goes, oh, you don't have to pay that. No, you just say this. I'm like, no, like they'll arrest you. I'm like, no, you get in trouble. It's like, no. And I'm like, now you got to go to sheriff. Just tell the sheriff in the county, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it doesn't, no, it's not how it works, man. You have to, the judge won't hear about it. It's no. So, I have to talk to the judge. I have to tell the judge, hey, this dude's a dick. He's actually using his, his job to fuck with me.
To bully you, yeah.
Yeah. So, but still, he's like, well, doesn't matter. I mean, yeah, but your grass is too high. So you have to mow the grass. But he kicked out the fine. But one time, he get the fine for $300, and I told my kids they had to split it because they were supposed to mow the lawn. But it isn't fair.
Terrible.
If my friend from the other street came over, he was like going off on the guy. He's like, my grass is a foot higher than his. You can come to my house. So
wow.
But see, things don't work the way they're supposed to work. And he was like, well, this is unconstitutional, and they can't do this, and they can't. It's like, you're not wrong. But if you go into court, and he's like, you can't go to jail. It's like, yeah, if you go to jail, it's like, I'm not going to pay this. You can't go to jail for not mowing your lawn, but you go to jail for not paying the fine. I said, so in the end, you go to jail and you lose your job and everything happens.
And yet they say we don't have a debtor's prison.
Yeah, that's the perfect point.
The irony of that. So if someone owes me money, there's no consequences to them. However, if they have a fine for not paying their for not mowing their grass and they owe the state,
right,
then they could go to jail.
But the craziness of that, it goes even further, because let's say I owe $100 and they say, you have to pay this $100. I can't pay this $100. And they say, okay, then you're under arrest. You can go to jail where you pay $50 a day. So we're going to take you, which costs us money. We're going to arrest you, process you. We're going to feed you and clothe you and take care of you in the jail for 2 days, which is going to cost us probably like $1,000 or something, $700. So we're going to pay $700 and then forgive your $100. It's like, how does that make any sense whatsoever? It's not like they're earning money while you're in jail. It's not like you're making license plates or doing something where they're selling it. You're just sitting there for days. And then your money adds up to pay for this, debt that they made up on their own. It's so obvious how it's a little ecosystem that they made up. It's like almost something a child would come up with.
I'm hoping that we've turned a corner and we're on the right path. Tomorrow's the 17th and I have a court date. So I'm hoping for the best. A little justice in my life would be good. Should we jump over to your channel and see what you want to talk about?
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you guys over on Satoshi Sean's channel. JT, follow Boring Sleuth on I'm not an expert on ETHgate, but follow Boring Sleuth on
Not
Twitter.
Boring Sloth, because that would actually be really boring to watch Boring Sloth.
That might be really boring. Yeah.
Cute, but,
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and secret proceedings. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed.